shining a beacon on the bazaar.
Right then, got my snorkel, whip, yep, brass knuckles. Hiya, Skip, how are you doing?
Hey up, our kid. Well, it looks like you're packing there. Where are you going?
Well, Thailand, my friend.
Oh, shit. Does that mean I've got to do all fucking lighthouse on my own?
3 weeks, son.
Oh.
16th of May, I'll be in that air, my friend.
Oh, fucking hell. Do you think I might have to get Robo Pete in to help us out?
Wheel him in. He does an alright job helping out, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He can't leave you totally on your own. Resurrect that old bastard.
I know, but that's the thing. I'll just start drinking again with him. To the right bun fight.
That's true, actually. Staying away from the piss. Do you want a cup of tea, Matt? No, don't.
This isn't tea, it's grog.
He doesn't know what water is, does he, the dirty old bastard?
So what's the score with Thailand then?
Well, it sounds good on paper, but this is what happens. I pick... Basically, I last picked up the young girl after school. She drives down to Manchester in car. I get the lad, and I jump in on the train to Leeds to Manchester. We all meet up. We fly to Dubai, wait a couple of hours, fly to Thailand, get out the airport, and then her mum's come down with all the sisters in a minibus.
What? Who's driving the minibus?
I don't know, some strange Thai dude, you know what I mean, that I've never met, and he's probably on some kind of amphetamine or something. We then have to cross Bangkok, which is a day's journey normally anyway, and if you want to get to the other side of Bangkok, it's not an easy feat, so it's maybe about 6 hours, you know what I mean?
Just to get across Bangkok, yeah.
Drop our lass off at her sister's house, you know what I mean, so 2 sisters pile out with my wife, see you later, bye, and then she goes learning Thai massaging or facials or some shit in
facials,
Bangkok.
Mate?
Yeah.
That's pretty easy. Leave that to bloke, how are you?
Just earning a little bit of cash in between. How do we afford
Would you have to just close your eyes off, put some glasses on?
It's those fake eyelashes like the French, innit? Yeah. So, then she leaves me with the children, my stepdaughter and her baby, a mum and the sister with the rubber tits. And then we all drive back to the village, about an 8-hour journey.
That sounds champion holiday, that.
Yeah, then I stay alone in a Thai village, not speaking any Thai, and just hopefully don't get eaten or something.
Fuck's sake.
It's brutal, that,
What's the Thai equivalent of a wicker man?
Basically, her village, it is there. It's just full of black magic. I'll do photos, and because everywhere they hang football shirts outside the house, so every house has got a football shirt on a coat hanger outside the house. So when one of the ghosts comes past, they think, the man's left or the man's in, and leaves the house alone. It's like a husband-seeking ghost, you know what I mean?
Really?
Yeah, honestly, there's always like a ghost house in the garden as well, so like a little shrine ghost house to give fruit and Sprite and Fanta and all that shit and incense every day.
I've heard this before with Sprite as
it's mainly Fanta. Fucking Buddha loves Fanta. All ghosts proper love Fanta.
Maybe it's the orange.
It could be, I don't know. Yeah, it could well be, but they love it. It's not normally different types of Fanta, actually. They never stick to just orange, you know what I mean? They've got a few flavours over there. But yeah, there's that. He just goes on and on, the ghost there, and the fear of the Bob, and all this sort of shit. But I'll do it more in depth. I'll try and break it down like one
bit
ghost
of episode
at a time.
In that we could have there.
Yeah. Or a little Thai special where it's just like one bit at a time, because it's overwhelming, you know what I mean? It really is overwhelming. How many different superstitions I've got is massive over there.
I love all that side of things, though, superstitions.
Yeah.
Sort of like,
that's what makes it. Just be honest with you, I look at it and think, oh my god, I'm in a Thai village on my own. Only a stepdaughter can talk English, but I think just for weird food, and let's say, kids, let's go insect hunting, and let's just go look at this weird shrine in the garden.
When you say let's go insect hunting, all I can hear is the ambulance.
Isn't it the start of a deadly thing? Everything's deadly over
that's
there.
Like a headline waiting to happen. Turnip goes insect hunting in Thailand, loses his arm.
If I could dress like Indiana Jones, I need a whip, a gun, a pair of brass knuckles. You need things, you know what I mean? At least a massive stick, you know what I mean?
Are you definitely having brass knuckles over there?
No, I'll buy them when I'm over there. They're really easy to get older over there. It's really good.
Well, that's the thing with sort of personal protection, weaponry and things. You know, they seem to have it sort of wrapped up in Thailand.
They do. You can get everything. You know, the only problem is you probably get it taken off you and used on you, won't you? Tears it up with your own taser.
That's a humiliating, isn't it?
Brushing your teeth. Look at
Well, Well, weirdly enough, you talk about Buddhism, you see, because it's like, I know you've always like sort of like cleaved towards the Buddhist
Yeah,
side
out of
it.
everything, I like that, the void of Buddhism, yes.
Yeah, but the void.
Yeah.
I quite like that. You see, that's the side of things I don't like.
Right.
Whereas I'm actually, I'm looking at the Shinto religion at the moment.
Shinto? Is that Japanese or
That's the
something?
Japanese. It's the ancient Japanese.
Shinto.
Yeah, it came before. It came before Buddhism. Before
Wow.
Buddhism came into sort of like Japan through China, the Shinto religion was there. Now, this is something I've been kind of looking into more and more and more. I find it very interesting.
I bet it's fucking brutal, or is it
No.
brutal? No.
It is just a complete belief of nature being the religion.
Yeah.
And it's not even a belief in sort of like proper resurrection. The Buddhism side of things came into Shinto later on.
Right,
And then
and
it
it
sort of said,
matched.
oh, you'll come back. Yeah, and it didn't really match. The Japanese, all Japanese religions are very, very weird. Their approach to religion. They'll quite, like a lot of their whole culture, they'll quite happily take other things in and just amalgamate it into what they do.
Take all the things in, tie it with a rope and come on it.
Yeah, yeah, that's it. Yeah,
Which is nice.
Push a fish up your fanny. Make a film about it. But it's like that thing of like, it is a proper nature religion, sort of revering nature as something which is to be sort of like absolutely, sort of like to be worshipped.
I can see it in a sense, because if you look at, you think, why is there brutality in the world, and then you look at it, insects and the food chain, and then you're not the god, you're part of the system. You can think you need to fit in. I like that.
There's a whole thing of like sort of like watching a rock grow.
Wow.
Which is really interesting, and which is to sort of sit and just look at a rock.
Whose cock?
rock. Watching a rock grow. Now, of course, we all know a rock doesn't grow.
Yeah.
But it's just a contemplation.
Yeah,
It's a study. And that's the sort of side of things which is, as an artist, this is something that, part of my job is to observe and to look. And to not just look, it's to sort of say, right, it's to see the structure, to see how things are.
No,
And
that's
it changes
cool.
the way you think in a lot of different ways. And that's the sort of side of things where the reason why I'm interested in the Shinto religion is I think it could have been almost like a worldwide religion. You have all rock sort of formations around the world. That
The pagan side of it.
Yeah, and people sort of see these magic, and I don't think it was these massive rituals and magic. I think it was a lot simpler.
Yeah.
I think it was being one with nature. You're in nature, you're all a part of it, and then you're actually building stone structures and just contemplating them as ancestors. Because there was a great thing I was listening to. How we're all basically made of the earth. It was a podcast. It was talking about how is the earth alive?
Yeah.
Right, and it sort of said, well, and people said, well, no, but they've been digging down 2, 3, 4 miles underground and more. Dug into the rock, looked at the samples, packed with life.
Wow.
So they've dug down, and life grows, and is there in the earth miles and miles and miles down in the earth, even further down in the sea. Life permeates everything to do with earth. But people say, well, no, that's life on earth. But then the argument goes, well, we're basically made of carbon, which is stone. We're basically made of lots of water, H2O, so that's part of the earth as well.
A bit of stardust.
Yeah, a bit of stardust, that's the sort of thing. But the reality is, how much of us is actually alive? Or are we just living structures, building rock and water together to make a perambulatory item to go
It's
around?
like a moving mix of the elements.
So we are made, so when you're watching stone grow, weirdly enough, we are stones that are growing. We're adding carbon to ourselves, we're adding minerals to ourselves to grow and move.
That's fucking groovy, man. Because if you got the earth and you said, right, let's everything that's alive come out of earth and sit next to the earth, it'd be a husk of shit, wouldn't it, really? You know what I mean?
That's
it won't
exactly
be much
right.
there,
And then it sort of says, well, if life is there, does life end? Is life an elemental force in itself? And I get to that point where I sort of think, well, actually, to a certain extent, it is something that doesn't seem to end. It's not like life on Earth is ever actually ending. It always comes back. It's a force in itself, and it's not getting too sort of religious about it.
Well, it's kind of scientisty there.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean.
You
It
know?
turns into more of a science thing. So that's why I'm sort of talking about the idea of the Japanese and the reverence of stone and rock and things like this. And it brings us back to a little subject, right? Here at KRAKEN Cove, the podcast that shines a beacon on the bazaar. it takes us back to something we talked about before, which is our old stones and things, you know, and the way we revered stone was a very similar way to the Japanese did, or even still do. That's why they have rock gardens and stuff. So I've got a little artefact to show you.
Well, twisted round.
Yeah, so we've got a little artefact.
He's got a little blanket like something you have in your backseat of your car.
You know, so we got a lovely rock.
He's just got his cock out. Oh no, it's a rock!
It's a lovely rock.
Let's have a look there. Oh, wow! I nearly dropped it.
So what this is a Celtic stone
Where the
head.
fuck have you got that from?
Well, this was gifted to me by a very good friend of mine, JP. Thank you for this, JP.
Jesus, honestly, it's nearly a life-size stone of a head.
Yeah,
you know.
and now we've talked about the Celtic stone heads before. They're very much mainly a northern phenomena, and these are stone heads which are carved into the faces of humans and then buried in sacred places.
Oh yeah.
So quite often,
is these the ones from Bradford? They're up to do with them?
Exactly. It's the same people who did
Is
this.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a
Jesus,
specimen.
man, that's ace.
It's very
proper
cool.
old, isn't it? Like,
so what if you could
wow.
describe the face to people, if you could?
Like really big eyebrows, you know, like I wouldn't say Neanderthal, thank you, but he has got very heavy brows, you know what I mean, a few bit chipped off, nice sunken eyes.
The nose has gone, unfortunately, at some point.
But then sometimes I think, has it been snapped off, or did they do it the other way?
Yeah,
you know, like for shadows or something.
Yeah.
And then quite an open mouth. I won't say a shout or anything, but it's like it's open, a bit of a sneer kind of look to it.
This particular one is a very old specimen. It could be a cruder, later specimen of about 700 or 800 years old. I don't think it is. I think this is a very old one because it hasn't got a mount at the back, so it's not been part of a building. This has been a stone which has been carved and then buried ceremonially.
Wow, that's fucking incredible.
Yeah.
Obviously, we'll get pictures on socials of that. But you could watch that through the day and watch that change.
Yeah,
the browser.
That's why I want to build like a little cabinet for it with an uplight to show the shade and shadows.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Christ, what a bit of history.
Well, ironically, one of these was actually on Antiques Roadshow last night. Yeah. 3,000 to 5,000 quid.
Oh, I bet. Oh, Jesus.
So it's like we've been working together a few things, me and JP, on sort of stones and things. But he's had this for a few years, and he's just been wrapped up in a blanket. And realised I love it.
Yeah.
And we helped him out with a few things recently, and he just sort of says, "Oh look, as a thank you, I've got you this."
Oh, that's a really good gift. Is that? That's really good. Well done, JP.
Yeah.
What a. You know, you look at trinkets and you look at that; it's just like awe-inspiring.
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, that's why I want to put it on display. I'm not a person who owns things.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
I don't like bits. I like things that do things. I like sort of tool use. I like sort of things which have a purpose. I'm not very
games consoles and shit like that. Yeah.
No, arcade.
All right.
I mean, but this is something special. This is different. This is in another league.
Absolutely.
So I'll take some photos of it for the socials. It might even be the little head that we're going to use as our little icon for the episode, perhaps.
I like that, definitely.
Something, but as far as stones are concerned, we'll be working more with stones this year. I've got some little trips out. I might even do a trip out today to a site where I know there's some incredible stone features. Shipley Glen. It's not far away from here at all, about a quarter of an hour to 20 minutes away.
Does that back onto the moors?
That's exactly right. Yeah, it goes up onto Buildon Moor, then goes on, which leads on Ilkley Moor. All these moors are linked.
Fascinating part of the country, isn't it? When you look at it, we really look at it.
Totally overlooked, though.
It's
such a sad thing that everyone's constantly rattling on about Stonehenge and the things down in sort of Cornwall and Dartmoor and areas like that, where I think the most interesting aspect, which hasn't been studied enough, is the Yorkshire region for sort of like stone circles and things, and it's Lake District is amazing.
Is it?
Yeah, amazing.
God, what a place to have camps and stuff. The Lake District and that is crazy when you look at it like that. It's still water,
it's still there. Yeah, well, again, there's up there. There's the Langdale Axe Factory there.
Love Langdale.
Yeah, well, you should go to the Axe Factory sometime.
Oh wow,
And it's basically top of a mountain. You have to climb a mountain up there that you can find all these rough outs. There's one behind you somewhere, a rough out. Let me just find it. Is that it? That's a rough out.
Oh, nice.
So that is 3,000 to 4,000 years old.
Jesus.
And what it is, it's a bluestone axe what they've started chipping away to see.
You mentioned bluestone.
That's a bluestone axe, and it's one of the reasons we think they go for bluestones is because over in Italy there's some of the finest, like a greeny bluestone which they found up mountain, and they make the most beautiful, like, jewel-like axes there. Wow. Ceremonial, not used. And it turns out that we're trading with Italy and Spain and places like this for these wonderful artefacts like 4,000 years ago. Yeah.
And someone wandering around on their own, or is it like a small party of them going around?
It's groups. These things where I think there was individuals going to the factories, but I think there was also, because you've got to remember, to sort of travelling from where we are, Wharfdale, to or Airedale and Wharfdale, up to the Lake District, everything they had to walk. They had to walk these set routes, and we found evidence of being like stone encampments and things like that all the way up there.
Wow.
And you've got to find your way. So if you're travelling, it's quite dangerous.
I always just think of banditos, you know what I mean? You think how they travel around back in them days.
So that's what
were it as savage as I imagine, or were it
a lot less savage than you imagine? But there were savage people about. There will have been tribes which would have been sort of like uplifted in part of this new movement of religions. There will have been more
fucking dogs and eating each other.
that kind of thing. Kid, so it was an interesting time, but it's also, as they call it, a time of prehistory. So it was Neolithic. It means new stone age, new stone to the Neolithic. So then I followed, and it rolls into the Iron Age a little bit as well, you know. But it is a fascinating time. The clues are there to find things, as we've seen before. Going to see stone circles ourselves, but it's something that, again, we might do a special on that.
Sometime. Let's do another one this year. We should do a stone special every year in summer when it's nice and warm.
Definitely, what I'll do is I'll find a good site for you, and then we'll go and we'll do a bit of recording there.
Yeah, I want to get into that, Mark. I really enjoyed last
we need to
time.
go to the Devil's Arrows. And we'll do what we'll do is we'll go to Borough Bridge as well, so we'll do the Devil's Arrows, go to Borough Bridge.
What's that other one in that churchyard, that massive fucking monolith?
Rudston Monolith.
I really want to see that.
We'll do that as part of the same route.
Well,
let's do what we'll do is we'll take a day in summer. We'll have a day off. And we'll start off early because you have the long days, so we can start off early, head up towards Ripon and Borough Bridge, then go across country. Hit Rudstone Monolith, and if we've got time, we'll get up towards Whitby, where there's been some new, very interesting artefacts.
I've been little bits there.
So that could be a good, fun little road trip for the KRAKEN Cove crew.
Absolutely, Skip.
But until we do that sort of thing, you've been packing for your holidays and things like this. We can't really leave the lighthouse today. We've got jobs to do. But we've always got a bit of time for a bit of casting.
A bit of sly casting, Skip.
So we can cast our magic light out from the lighthouse.
Yes, please.
Scan the beam around, and let's see what we can see.
Let's do that. He's Matt and I'm Benny.
Hiya. So really, what we need to look at is why these old cultures are really, really good, right? And the best way of doing that is saying why culture nowadays is a bit shit, right? So there's an Ohio company now, right? And what they've done is they've, I don't even remember last time we had the drone, didn't we? We talked about these drones that can hunt people down and blow them up, right? For some fucking mad reason, right, there's a Ohio-based company called Throwflame.
Oh, not one with a flamethrower.
They have built a robot dog.
Alright.
And built a flamethrower into it.
Oh, fuck.
They've called it the Thermonator.
Oh, yeah.
And you can buy one privately, just have it off the thing, $9,000.
For a flamethrower dog.
For a flamethrower dog. Do you want to have a little look at the Thermonator?
Oh, shit.
Right, so are we ready?
Because they're scary anyway. Oh my god, really scary dog with a Terminator, space age thing on its back, shooting meters of flame out of it. His skinny, horrible legs.
Well, this is the awful thing about this is I don't know if you ever saw the. I mean, I love War of the Worlds. I think War of the Worlds is fantastic. It's been such a great TV film. I really like the Tom Cruise movie.
Yeah, it is. It's really good.
It's a good movie.
It's a great movie.
Have you ever seen the series?
No, I didn't.
The series is amazing.
said a French series.
French series. It was made by the French. It's actually in English, but it was a French-made series. And the rather than using big spaceships to hunt people down, it's robot dogs.
Oh God!
And that's what this is. It's these robot dogs with that shoot. And so what they do is they infect the whole Earth with these millions of these robot dogs, which hunt us down with the sole purpose of just killing as many people as possible. You know, get the humanity down to this sort of base level where they're manageable. That's the whole idea by using these robot dogs, and it's this same dog that they're using. That's what the TV show uses. This robot dog.
It's so because anywhere we can get one of them robot dogs could go, and then just dying by flamethrower.
I know.
It's you know what I mean.
And I just don't know. This saying the thing because this is they now know how to make these things en masse. It used to be quite kind of a novelty, you know what I mean? But now they're not. They've got this technology down pat now. They know how to do it. So according to Throw Flame, an Ohio-based company that manufactures flamethrowers,
like you do.
Its latest invention features a 30-foot firing range, light detection, range mapping, as well as laser sighting aboard a battery-powered thing with legs that can jump around. Touted as your ultimate firepower companion.
Oh, yeah.
So if you're in sort of like, you know, if you're in a situation where you sort of you need backup and cover, the Thermonator is your backup friend.
When can you use it? It's sort of like evil walls or...
Well, true, but what they've said is... What they've said is they're saying its robots' uses include wildlife control and prevention.
Jesus Christ! What?
Which I don't know what that fucking really means.
I don't.
You know
like
what I mean?
Culling deer or something. You just shoot that.
I don't know what they think about it. Agricultural management and ecological conservation. Now, part of that I understand. Now, there's a brilliant book. Can't remember the author, but it's called Fire Season. It's literally my top 5 favourite books of all time ever. Wow. You should read it.
I think I read it. I think you bought me it once. That dude on top of the treehouse.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Not treehouse. He's a fire watcher. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Really good.
So I'm a massive fan of Kerouac's Desolation Angel.
Oh, right,
that's the one when he's in the...
I need to read that.
It's so good. It's really good.
I'll order that.
I think you're always going to grow out of fucking Kerouac, though. That's the only problem with him. You know what I mean? There's a certain point...
You go a bit Kerouac when you're drunk and you're talking. You go a bit scat daddy, don't you?
Skim up.
Yeah, that's it. But what they do is they have a thing called they have sort of like controlled burns.
Yeah.
Now in that book Fire Season, they talk about people going in where there's too much. They don't control the burns enough. Fires are natural in these areas. There should be fires. That's what's always happened. There's been lightning strikes, lands burned, certain trees their seeds break up, and with fire it needs fire.
It does.
But the issue they have is not enough burns. They've just put these burns out. So rather than having controlled burns, they've been stopping all the burns, and then this brush has built up to sort of like epidemic.
Fire's pretty fucking easy. You don't need no robot flamethrower dog.
Well, the issue they've had is starting these burns because the dangerous situations now to start the burns, because there's so much brush.
Once you start a burn, you can't get out.
You can't get out of that area. So what they're suggesting is they could actually put in your Thermonator, goes in, starts the burn, you probably lose the dog. Or the robot dog.
It does look pretty plasticky. It doesn't look like it could survive a
for $9,000 it's worth it, you know what I mean?
And
so you can actually match one of these things into that zone.
Try and match it out.
Yeah, you could, and it's because it's got mapping and everything. You can say, right, you walk in this direction for X amount of miles, get to this point and just light up, you know, and that could be a very useful thing. Because this is the issue they have as well, in certain areas, you know, they think these forests last forever, and they're becoming more and more scarce, right? Have you ever seen a giant redwood?
On telly,
Yeah, well, you probably haven't. You've probably actually seen one. Oh. If you want to go see giant redwoods, the place where there's most giant redwoods on Earth is the UK.
What?
they're meant to be the giant redwood forests of like California and places like this. There's now more giant redwoods in the UK than there is in California. Their particular ones are much bigger than ours because they've been grown for thousands of years.
That Hitchcock movie, there's a good in it.
Yeah, that's it. North by Northwest.
Yeah,
it's really good. But and you know, it's just one of those amazing sights on Earth. It's one of the great wonders of the world. Is the redwood forests of California. But people went over there, found the seeds, got things, and brought them over here for the arboretums of the UK, and just general little forests. Golden Acre Park, there's a giant redwood in there. Yeah, there's all over the place in the UK because they were seen Victorian era. They had these massive things where people were going out. This is why orchids, ferns, things like this were collected. They'd send people out into these areas and come back with exotics and plant these exotics, things like rhododendron and things like this, which we'd never had here and are becoming invasive now, unfortunately. But certain things were a bit of a boon, so the giant redwoods that we have here.
Fascinating.
Yeah, and they're absolutely, I think they're just incredible things to go see.
Until all robot dogs fucking burn them down,
Yeah, well, that is the issue.
We talked about fucking drones and that, then you got robot dogs and stuff. It's like terrorist dream.
Yeah, well,
just like,
this is the issue. They don't seem to look past this sort of thing.
Some Bond villain, you know, just stacks up on all this shit. Can
you imagine sort of Elon Musk getting 1,000 of these?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? And it is pretty terrifying. One thing they said is, well, another good ice removal. So
extreme. Bit of fucking antifreeze, you don't need a fucking robot flame-throwing dog. What's left? Oh, the ice is gone, and so's all the houses.
So's my car.
And my face.
Yeah, so that's the thing. So this is why I'm saying perhaps we should be a little bit more keen on the wild and nature.
Fucking hell, no, these are all, it's going to be awful in 20 years, isn't it? Even 10 years, 5 years.
I think, there's a potential for something terrible happening with one of these things, but sometimes that's what the humans need. We need some sort of absolute cataclysm to realise when we're going in the wrong direction. We can't. Humans aren't very good at stopping,
no.
Right? But we're quite good at doing like a hard left turn. So when something bad happens, we think it's like gun control when you had guns all over the place. You know, some fucking lunatic goes and shoots everyone. It's not happening in America, this. But then we have that point where if the debate happens, we think, well, we can't have these anymore because this is mental. And then we stop what we're doing. So unfortunately, we have to wait until the Thermonator does something dreadful in the city centre. Can you imagine that thing marching through Central Leeds and just torching everything?
I'm so glad I don't like outside.
Where do you like it?
I love inside. It's beautiful.
Well, you're not going to be inside in Thailand,
no,
are you?
No, I'm going to be totally exposed.
Maybe what you need is a Thermonator, wouldn't you?
Yeah, just ride round as a family and a pack of them.
Well, that's it. Maybe get a size. It'll get a horse-sized one. Like Jurassic Park, says our kid, life finds a way.
Oh, well done, yes.
Yeah, so we are sort of going back again a little bit into looking at sort of like human or life forms or things like this. You know, I mean, nature and natural occurrences, right? And scientists have observed something really quite incredible. And they say it's like two life forms have merged into one organism. They've witnessed it for the very first time, right?
Wow, that's groovy.
And this is something that happened, and they reckon this is the first time this has happened in 1 billion years.
Oh, so like full evolution right there.
Yeah, that's it. Full evolution in a petri dish, right there, right? So basically, what it happens when this occurs is like it's called primary endosymbiosis, right? So rather than actually evolving a new part of your body to do something, or growing something new to do something.
Oh, give it.
Yeah, so two cells have got different functions.
Yeah.
And they've somehow realised, hang about, if we join together, we get together, we could have...
Fast evolution.
Fast evolution, yeah, that's it. But that's how they reckon life on Earth. This is the mechanism that caused us to crawl out from the primordial swamp and become something which can evolve to actually sort of do something and perform better, can get on land, can breathe in the air, can do this sort of stuff, and this is
shopping.
what they go shopping. That's exactly it. You know what I mean? It's that kind of thing. And apparently they realise it's essential for what it does. So there's the function you can see here. I'm just going to show Benny a little diagram of this, and we'll put it on the socials. So it's hard to sort of work out what's going on. So this is the first cell here.
Cock and balls on that
one.
There's
a big droopy cock and balls on that one. But what's happening here, this has got a certain set of organs. Yeah.
Is this microscopic shit?
Yeah, this is absolutely microscopic. Yeah, it's not the size of a bus. Now, this one's joining in the other, and it's joining all together. Now, as you can see, these organs are being absorbed into it. These have become larger and more productive. These cells down here, which they've got a new organ down here. And this is how it kind of works. Now, the thing I dispute is, the scientists are saying that we've seen it. It's the first time it's happened in 1 billion years. Aren't we lucky? Fuck off! Right? I can't believe that if you can happen upon it in a petri dish in a science lab, and oh shit, it's happened. No, I don't think it can happen like that. All right, it might be under strict scientific conditions. I personally think this is happening all the time.
I'm going to say, to me, it totally makes sense that it's happening every second of the day in a weird way somewhere on this giant petri dish of Earth.
Yeah, and I think it's trying and failing and trying and failing and trying. And I think it's even happening, like we said before, the deep Earth, under the ground, very deep sort of ground. I think it's happening all the time. They're probably trying and failing. This happened for nearly 1 billion years before any creature occurred. Multicellular life occurred and died off and tried it, and it kept trying until it hit the magic formula. I think that's what's happening.
Oh, absolutely. It can't have just stopped for 1 billion years and that sporty bastard got it in his petri. Well done to you.
Yeah, well done, Jeff.
We hadn't noticed it, or we've never had proof of it.
Well, that's it. I think we just got to a point where we've got the kit to view this sort of thing.
And manipulate it together a bit. I bet he were tampering, wasn't he?
Yeah, I bet you're not trying to make two dogs fuck.
And they really don't want her and that.
Yeah, go on, get on top of it. Go on, Towser, give it one. We want to get some puppies out of this. And that's basically, I think that's what they've done. They've encouraged it, or formed a way, and made it, created a perfect environment for this to occur, and it's occurred. But these, you don't have to make this. There's enough situations in nature for this to occur naturally, and it's probably happening all the time.
All that Doctor, is it Dr. Monroe, whatever?
The island of Dr. Moreau.
Yeah, man, it's like that shit. And if given chance, they'll be straight doing that.
Yeah, that's it. They are doing it. Yeah, there's labs everywhere with half human, half something. And it's thing that people sort of always say, like, isn't nature wonderful? It can do these things. And it is wonderful sort of thing, right? I'm now watching fucking Mammals with David Attenborough last night, right? And they're marvelling because all these little monkeys living out in the middle of nowhere, there's no water, nothing to drink, and they're all struggling a bit, right? And they've come across this little tree, right? And in this little hollow in the tree, there's some water right low down in it. Anyway, one of these little monkeys comes along and he finds a stick. And he puts the stick in, he starts sucking into the stick and getting water off the end of the stick. And then this other mummy monkey comes up, right? And it needs more water because it's got to get enough milk in itself to create milk for the baby. So she dips her tail in. Tail acts as a sponge, right? Sucks all the water off the tail, gets a drink, and survives, right? And I think, isn't nature wonderful? Yeah, it is. But if you look at the light years of difference between what we can do, and we're going, ooh, isn't that monkey clever for dipping its tail in that water and giving it a
see
suck?
what I do with my fucking dick? I'll do my fucking evolution. Shit, I've done it with my own fucking tail.
You've dipped in all sorts of shit.
All sorts of shit.
And if you could, you'd at least sucked it.
Oh, I've tried, Arkin.
Rolling round.
Rolling round. Just trying to get to...
Trying to really get backtracking, rolling noise from outside the room, grunting away.
Rolling round. What are you doing? Nothing.
It's not what it looks like. Don't look at me. Don't look at me. Why
it's silly, the animals are thick as shit, really, aren't they, compared to what the hell that we get up to.
One of my mates once got pissed. He told me he managed to get tip in his mouth.
He did.
And I thought, Why are you telling me that? It's not a high point.
In all, is it?
And you know, I always wonder as well, if you could suck your own dick, right, would it feel nice? Because, you know, like, tickling yourself don't work.
Yeah, I don't know. I know what you mean. Imagine it afterwards, like you said, all spent.
Yeah.
Oh.
Or if you put your back out, you stay like that. And you have to be shipped off to hospital with your knob in your gum.
All pudding on your chin.
Blinking out your eyes. I just had an accident.
Like some dirty Santa Claus.
Yeah. And all doctors and nurses going, what were you doing, sir? You go, oh, because you still got a knob in your gulp. And you're like, oh, look at this lad. How much time have you got on your own?
Get the cock rack.
Yeah.
Specialised machine.
Got another one.
Yeah.
Got another one. Another bloke trying to suck himself off. Fucking hell. But that's the thing about the evolution of things, you know what I mean?
One day we might.
Yeah, one day we might, okay. But that's the thing, we need to evolve. Sort of scientific tampering can be dangerous, can't it? You've got to be careful with it. But at the same time, I don't know. My own personal internal jury is still out as to whether we should stop tampering with things like that, or whether we should do a little bit in under controlled conditions. We're going in that direction anyway. Of modifying ourselves to be better than we are.
We're unstoppable at the moment. Because if England didn't do it, the rest of the countries would, wouldn't they?
This is it. I find this particular one both amazing and incredibly disturbing. Right, we've talked about the creature before, the tardigrade.
Can't remember anything.
You can't remember anything about it. I'll show you a quick picture of a tardigrade. There's a tardigrade.
I've never seen that fucking thing in my life. Oh well, throw her a polar bear.
Funny enough, that's what they call it. They call them something like sea pigs or little bear. But
sea pigs. I remember sea pigs now.
They call them something bears as well.
Yeah, tiny little things.
Yeah, tiny little things, but they're absolutely tough as fuck.
Yeah.
They had some in space on like a spacecraft to sort of like try and see what they did.
Wow.
In like the orbit of the moon. Thought, let's see what'll happen. Accidentally crashed it onto the moon.
Tardigrades are almost say that.
Yeah, so they're almost
space pigs.
Space pigs. So they reckon these little sort of like these little creatures now, or water bears or whatever, another name for them. They look incredibly cute in a weird way.
They do, yeah.
Yeah, but they found they can survive in space.
Wow.
And if you've crashed them onto the moon, there's a very good chance now we have tardigrades living on the moon. They're a little bit worried about this. They're thinking, what the fuck have we done? Not a good move, not a clever move. In fact, on other planets with sort of like, living things. But as we've already seen as well about mould growing on the external bodies of space. Yeah, thrived it did. So there's a good chance as well there have been molds on that spacecraft as well.
Yeah, and shit bags everywhere.
Yeah, well, no, they bring the shit back with them.
No, they didn't before.
No, didn't they?
They had to leave it there. They had to leave it on Moon, old Duke.
Oh, so there you go.
Dookie Moon with little polar bears eating it. So how do they breed? You know what I mean? Do they literally hump each other or what?
Yeah,
something that small's got jennies.
I don't know how it works. I haven't looked into the breeding habits. I don't think it could suck itself off.
That's insane though. That little thing humping another little thing, they have a baby.
Well,
goes to school, fucking...
Yeah, the whole lot. Well, weirdly enough, going to school might not be far off.
Come on.
They're now blended tardigrade proteins into human cells.
Why?
Yeah. It's weird.
That's minging.
Minging.
It is though.
Well, it kind of is, but it's also really interesting in a weird way. I sort of think, you shouldn't do that. What happened?
They're all scaly and like... That's interesting.
Quick, get the Thermonator.
Big back of it.
Yeah. But it's only cells. So they've not actually made like a little embryo.
Yeah, but it's still the cells of that.
It's still the so. But what?
Armadilloed up and.
Well, but what they found is the human cells have taken on some of the absolute unkillable aspects of the tardigrade creature. They found it can go into like a dormant state. It found these cells, so basically, potentially, if they can work this out further and further and further, this is very, very early. It could be a case that we could go dormant, or a human type thing could go dormant for thousands of years, potentially.
Jesus.
Space travel.
Oh, yeah.
Going from planet to planet in a dormant state. They found, which is something you mentioned before about space travel, the new cells can survive hot and cold temperatures of extremes and huge levels of radiation. Can withstand it. You become radiation proof, heat proof, cold proof.
But it's still like a human that's not a human, isn't it? That's like...
Well...
But if you got some of its DNA and its... You know, how can I say, its traits as an animal, just like, oh God, I want to eat his head.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, what's that craving to just like start munching on people?
I mean, it's going to be like an amazing B movie to start with before it gets much further, you know what I mean? But it's interesting because what they've done before, it's like when they found the spider, when they made the spider goats, right?
Spider goats? Oh, no! That's some other thing.
What? The spider goats are incredibly useful, right?
What, they're out there already?
Yeah. Do you know about the spider goats?
Are you fucking pulling my chair?
Not at all. They've blended the genes of the golden orb web spider, or the golden orb weaver spider, I think it's called. But it's, you know, or orb web. I can't remember which one. I'm just going off the top of my head. Blended it with a goat.
Oh, you go.
And the goat survived. Everything worked right. I'll tell you why. Because the silk of the golden orb weaver spider is the strongest material on the planet. Stronger than steel, stronger than Kevlar, stronger than loads of stuff.
What, it just shoots out goat's tits or what?
Yes.
Oh! They've made that work.
They've made it work. So what they do now is the proteins that is in spider silk comes out through the goat's milk. The milk of the goat, they extract the protein, and on a huge scale, because imagine how many spiders you'll have to milk.
Yeah, that's a lot.
But you've got a shit ton of goats giving off this milk. They can now harvest the proteins, this incredibly strong protein, and use the proteins.
What for?
We don't fully know yet. They have things they need them for. Extremely. It might be the case. The vehicles of the future. There's protective clothing for us.
Jesus.
Extremely high tensile steel, or not steel, web threads instead of using steel for like. Take that bridge that collapsed the other day.
Yeah.
It might be if it was made out of this protein. It might never have broken.
Or some special like spacesuits for them fucking half polar bear fucking crossed human thing. This is getting really nightmare.
It's a bit weird.
Yeah, but I'm glad we got that flamethrower dog actually.
I feel sick. Can you imagine the noise the goats are making? That kind of.
It's the thing. We're just describing the thing, and it's real.
It's real.
I'm growing a bigger beard, man. Fuck that.
Why?
I'm like reading.
Do you know? I've got one of my mates, John. He's a great guy. But he's a bit of a peacock, and he loves his clothing. And he recently bought the McCready hat.
Oh, nice!
You can buy the McCready hat.
The sombrero.
No, well, it kind of is if you think about the McCready hat. It is like a really big
He nearly went home. He didn't want to wear that at all.
Really?
He nearly proper sulked about that hat.
Well, it sort of clips up at the front, doesn't it? Right. It's over £1,000 a hat, that.
Shit.
But you can get the McCready hat.
That is a ridiculous hat. When would you wear that hat?
Well, this is the thing with this mate of mine. He kind of... He seems to earn a lot of money because his clothing collection's insane.
Getting a hat that you can't wear.
He wears it. He wears all this stuff all the time. He'll wander around in sort of like
a big, massive, weird sombrero.
Yeah, and wear that like with the dude cardigan sort of thing, and just sort of mooch around like the woods of sort of like Suffolk or wherever he lives, doing that.
Waiting to get mugged.
For his hat and his cardigan.
Look, Target.
Yeah. It's no bed. Let's have
That's a grand eyes, huh?
Yeah. But he does do it. But I agree with you. Like, it's the sort of thing you sort of think we need to prepare for the worst case scenario of these things sort of
really do
take over and work.
Bloody spider goats, crikey!
Spider goats. There you go. You've learned something today, Arcade. And human tardigrades.
Man.
So, we're blending these creatures ourselves, but we're talking about multicellular life that's blending to form new things. We're just doing the same thing that nature is. But back to the old Shinto sort of thing, we are nature as well.
Yeah,
so are we just
embrace it?
Yeah, are we embracing it? Are we just doing what nature is?
If you could cross into an animal, what animal would you cross?
Oh, that's a really good... Do you know the best... Because there's the best animal in the world. The capybara.
Which one? Not like a pig thing.
Yeah,
Capybara.
it's the biggest rodent in the world.
Oh, that thing.
Yeah. And the capybara is a much overlooked creature.
What special powers are you going to get from that?
Do you know why?
Massive cock that can suck.
No. It's the friendliest animal on earth.
Oh.
The capybara.
Is it? Is that the title?
Yes.
Oh.
It has an innate ability to make friends with all of the creatures.
You have said this about them before.
Yeah.
That does ring a real bell, does it?
So you look in nature, and in any place, if there's an animal that needs like a pal in a zoo, give it a capybara.
Wow.
And it'll just hang out with donkeys, turtles.
I do love when cross species get on and knock around together. And that
well,
is
the
really
king of that
cute.
is the capybara.
Oh, bless it.
Yeah.
And you just go around making friends, all hairy and just all like friendly.
Just mooching around, having pals. It likes, one of its favourite things to do is it loves to balance an orange on its head. So it'll go, if you put water in its ponds, it goes up underneath the orange and just rises with an orange on its head. It'll just sit around with this little orange on its head.
Content, like a little ballerina.
Just balancing there, munching away with his little orange on its head.
I do like that.
And if you ever need to chill out, now this is my big top tip, right?
Yeah.
If you ever you're feeling a bit stressed, you need a bit of time to yourself, you just need to chill out, you go on YouTube and look at a capybaras eating melon. And you can have like half hour, 40-minute videos of just this lovely creature just crunching away on a melon.
Oh, a little moustachy thing it's got on that. Yeah, man.
That's it. So you just have a little munch and watch it. So capybaras, I think, are the Zen, they're Zen masters of nature.
That's a really good answer.
So they're balancing things that are an orange on its head. It's munching happily. It's making friends with all the other animals.
Oh, bless your soul, Skip. What a heartwarming tale.
Well, what animal would you join with?
Oh, walrus. Just want to see a look of it, you know what I mean?
That would be very funny.
Just to rock that look.
Although, unfortunately, the walrus is an incredibly stupid creature.
Yeah.
It's your point is... Again, on a David Attenborough recently, I'd noticed these walruses, beaches where they were on, was getting a bit too crowded and they didn't like it, so they'd go further and further up the beach. And then for some reason they'd find almost like little breeding grounds right high up on top of mountains and cliffs and stuff like that, right? But then the thick fucker, right, it sort of think to itself, I need to get back to the sea now. And just I'll go to the edge of a cliff, we're literally like 400 feet up, and be taught, how do I get down there? Oh, I haven't got any arms. Fall.
Jeez.
And it's a right mess, is that?
I bet I'm toppling down a mountain.
Yeah, and of course they're big,
stinky flesh.
Stinky flesh. Bump, bump. Awful. It's really sad because I do like a walrus myself.
Yeah, they are.
I would love to see walrus in the wild, you know. And of course, you know, we do miss Thor, don't we? You know what I mean?
Absolutely. We're a big part of our little cove for a time.
Wait a minute. If you're turning around and you're saying you wanted to be part walrus, you haven't been messing around with that.
Well, after that erotic video from Bridlington, I've always wondered, if I can't reach, I know someone who I can reach.
Away from the natural world or the unnatural world in this sort of one, right? You know, and let's move towards the supernatural world.
Nice.
That's the sort of thing I think we should go towards, because we're not looked at. I've been looking at a few sort of mythical creatures and things like this. You know what I mean? And again, one of the things we need to do, and I have threatened this in the past, is to do sort of like one on Japanese mythology.
Yeah.
But what I think me and you should do is you should go take note of Thai mythology.
I'm really gonna go hardcore into this one because it's gonna be there's no there, so I'm just gonna get really into that.
So let's look at Eastern ghosts and spirits.
Yes.
I've got a book on order at the moment about Japanese ghosts. I've just dug up another of my Japanese ghost books and sort of like things. So what we'll do is we'll do a special on Eastern weirdness.
Cool. Yeah.
And what I think we should do is bring one each. You know, like have a fight off with
get the weirdest one.
Yeah, I'll
like
do
that.
Japan, you do Thailand, and we'll just do one
showdown.
on one. Showdown. I think, and then be interested to see if there's any crossovers. That'd be pretty good fun. But we're not going to be in the warmth of the east. We're going to the coals of the north.
Oh, lovely!
And it's sort of this is the place basically where Thor and the walrus and everything lives. You know what I mean? We're going to his domain. We're going to his domain for this. So we're gonna look at the Qallupilluit or Qallupilluit. Right now, this is a weird creature, and it's a creature that lives along the Arctic shorelines near ice floes, and they are said to steal children that wander too close to the water. This myth is believed to serve the purpose of protecting children from a dangerous environment, keeping them from wandering too close to the ice. Now, I also want to say is myth, we don't know. I think it's straight in as this little description by calling it a myth. The idea...
It's very quite modern at the moment, and it said, this has come from, like, don't go into the woods, children. There's a monster in there. Don't go near the river or the ice or the water. You know, it's always... You think, wait a minute, you can't just dismiss it.
No, that's true. I mean, I can't remember the name of it now, but there's a very, very famous one that's from up sort of Sunderland way, of a witch that lives in, like, bogs and marshes. And a good friend of mine called Glenn James, I think it's Glenn James Brown. He wrote a book called Ironopolis, and he's a fantastic writer. This lad, he's a very good friend of mine. And we were in the same writing club. I was running the writing club when he was there, and he was for me, he was one of the standout writers I've ever read. I just said to him before, I said, I've just read this story of yours. It's absolutely wonderful. What I might do, I've actually got that written down still somewhere.
Get it dug up.
And what I might do is I'll ask his permission to do a reading.
Is that a witch?
No, this other one is. But within this Ironopolis, he talks about this witch that lived in these bogs and marshes.
Mate, I swear to God, there's no many witch stuff, but witches are really terrifying. Like a proper old witch, not one of them at stake or all fake witches. You know, proper dirty witch is like fucking gonna take your soul, man.
Yeah, and that's what this is. This is like this, almost like a bog spirit, you know. And basically, this one, the Qallupilluit, is almost like a witch character.
Wow.
That's what it's like.
Sea witch.
Yeah, it's like a sea witch.
Baby.
That's a sea hag. So the accounts of the appearance of the Qallupilluit differ from tales to tales, but there are some commonalities. The Qallupilluit is often described as having green, slimy skin, long hair and long fingernails. Their hands are webbed like an aquatic creature, along with scales and fins.
Wow.
It wears an omotic. Now I'm you know,
you give it a good go.
Give it a good go. Clean that up for us, will you?
Yes.
And which is like an Inuit parka.
Yeah.
So it's like this, like a sealskin parka that they'd wear. You know what I mean, right? And some say that the parkas are made of eider duck feathers and are used to carry kidnapped children. So they'd have almost like a pouch. These things have an inbuilt pouch in them.
Little kidnapping kangaroo pouch thing.
Yeah, but think about this. It's a little bit like Krampus.
Yeah.
Carrying children away in like a pouch or a basket sort of thing. So that's the sort of thing it says. It's said to have two flippers. One is able to emit a shrill sound that paralyses its victims. Yeah. They also have the ability to alter their appearance through a technique known as pilotitaminic, right? Which is like, but shape-shifting is very... I found this again and again in Inuit stories of shape-shifting, and it occurs time and time again, things altering appearances. And while some interpretations of them include the pronoun he as a creature, it's predominantly described as a feminine manner. It's said that the Qallupilluit uses the abducted children to maintain a long flowing hair, and she also has long fingernails and wears the amotuik in so it's a traditional feminine garment. Now, I don't know if you've ever seen the new series, which is on Netflix, I believe it is. It's been on BBC and Sky Atlantic and all this, called True Detective.
Oh man, first fucking season of that. Oh
yeah, it's awesome. I think the first 2 seasons of it were incredible.
Yeah.
The latest season is out. Yeah. Jodie Foster's in it.
Oh, well, I started watching a bit of it, and I ain't got sucked into it. I tell you what it is, and I couldn't get sucked into the second season. It was the first season was just so fucking rock solid. I just think, who can top that shit?
You can't top it.
It's unbelievably
yeah, but
good.
Woody Harrelson and I forgot the other guy in it. They're now they're sort of co-producers of the new season.
Have you heard, like the true story about True Detective?
No.
That it's basically saying, this is what has happened, this is what's happening.
Really?
You know what I mean? Yeah, with all pedo, and kids trafficking and all that sort of stuff. I know, but I've heard it on quite good form, kid. You sneer at me?
Have you been doing your homework?
A little bit. No, you're looking at that. And just say how true is for True Detective.
There is, thing is, to come down to it, child trafficking and organised paedophilia is happening.
Oh, on a fucking massive scale.
On a massive scale. It is occurring. Yeah. But you've got to be very careful. There's lots of crimes happening on a massive scale, you know what I mean? And I think you've got to, when you start taking it to government levels and sort of saying, and that isn't happening amongst government. I mean, one of the amazing ones, it was what was it called? Not Dolphin, it was called Dolphin Square in the UK. There was Dolphin Square was like a tower block, like a luxury tower block where lots of politicians would stay overnight. Yeah. And there was a genuine organised trafficking system for getting young boys into this sort of area. You know what I mean? And it was occurring, and they actually know who the madam was who was supplying these children. And she was absolutely villainous, this woman who was doing
exactly. It's a dark underbelly.
Yeah, but I think we can focus too much on it being. It is awful. But I think you can focus it on this all-consuming conspiracy, which is a reason for taking down governments. That's the issue you start to sort of struggle with.
Well, just say to me, it's that dark underbelly that's just there. That there's some, the characters involved in it are just there.
But the truth of the matter, all you have to do is go on. You can go in any part of a community, and you can find this. You can find these people organising, getting together, sorting things out, and working out how to sort of like abduct and be horrible at children. Everywhere from the government side of things, right down to fucking council estates where people are passing young kids around and stuff. You know what I mean?
Let's get back to SEAG.
It's much more flavoursome. But now, what I wanted to do is consider this appearance as a creature,
flippers, long hair, long nails, Parker coat on it.
But it's a weird creature.
It's
not just, whether it's evolved over time. It's very specific, especially having one flipper that can emit a shrill sound that paralyses its victims, So the mythology is that they lurk under the water in the Arctic regions of the world, living along the coast. The Qallupilluit hunt along the ice floes, kidnapping children that wander too close. One strategy they use for hunting is to emit an ethereal hum that will draw children closer to the water so they can be pulled in. Accounts vary as to what actually happens to the taken children. Some versions say the child is simply devoured, while others say that they are held in a stasis-like state and used to fuel the youth of the Qallupilluit. So they're kind of held in a stasis state underwater in the cold frozen water, alive, but frozen somehow. And that's leaching off of it.
Like a sea version of Alien 2, isn't it? You know
absolutely, what I mean? But the Qallupilluit can be outsmarted by its targets. They are said to be invulnerable in their natural state, so while it's in its normal form, you can't get it right. But some clever Inuit hunters found a way to bypass this. They would call out to it and ask it to change shape for them, so sort of flatter it and say, "Oh, aren't you amazing? You can do wonderful things." And it would usually change into something like a seal or a whale. And then they would kill it and bring it home as a valuable catch. So once it's changed its form, again, a shapeshifter, which is a little bit like the skinwalker in America. So, which is that landmass is connected to Greenland. It's connected to Canada, all the way down to the US. So skinwalker sort of style, I think.
Yeah, and they're only crossing over ice floes to get to where this shit is.
That's exactly right. There are tales of children willingly being given to the Qallupilluit. One such tale is about a grandmother and a grandson struggling without food. The grandmother called upon the Qallupilluit to come and take him away, as she would not be able to feed him and he would be better off. Once the tribe was able to successfully hunt again, a young Inuit couple took it upon themselves to retrieve the child. They were able to track him down, tethered to a piece of seaweed by the Qallupilluit so he could not escape her. However, they were not able to retrieve him because the Qallupilluit would drag him back under the waves whenever they got close. They stealthily hid nearby all night long and cut him loose when the sun rose. So, but I mean, nobody seems to sort of go around to sort of like go back to the grandmother and sort of say, "You horrible old cow."
It is, but God, underwater female monster. Come on.
Yeah.
Grendel's back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah,
It's so Beowulfy.
Yeah, it absolutely is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I very much think so. I do agree with that. One thing I find interesting there actually is, by looking at the sort of like the structure of that particular story, is I think they're almost like seeing her almost like as a wicked witch, and the grandmother herself is a wicked character, because the way it used to be in the Inuit villages when they didn't have enough food, the old people would go sacrifice themselves. Wow. They would go walk out onto the ice to die so that they wouldn't be a drain on the villages. So the idea of an old woman killing a young person or sacrificing a young person is probably seen as a very taboo subject. And the fact that a young loving couple went to go rescue the child,
youth saved the youth.
That sort of thing. So I think there's a lot in that sort of structure of a story which I find incredibly
creepy, innit? That's really creepy. And dark, especially when it's so dark up there as well. You know what I mean? It's like, oh shit.
You know, I've been with these quite a few at the moment of decent, sort of really decent. I'll get a little reading list together for you. But there's some really good fiction at the moment about sort of setting the ice, setting the frost and stuff. You know, and one of them was like climbing an amazing mountain and seeing ghosts on the way up. And another one was like almost like a wreck. That was these people on it was sort of stranded on the ice, and what they saw, things coming to the camp out in the dark and the ice and the frost. You know what I mean? Very exciting stuff. You know, very chilling, good. And although it's spring, it's still good fun to have a cold story.
But it's still fucking cold, isn't it? Jesus,
it's cold as a witch's tit.
Hey! I'm going to accept it, Arkin. It's been a lovely cove. I right enjoyed that.
I'm particularly pleased with this one. Because we've actually dived around. We've looked at science. Yes. We've looked at mythology. We've looked at British mythology. We've looked at all over the world things. We've looked at all
sea witches and shit.
We've gone into space.
Fire fucking torpedo dogs.
We've looked at everything. I think we've had this is a good, well-rounded cove.
Absolutely.
I think, you know what I mean? And I'm particularly happy with it. I think it's a good little episode, this one, you know. And that's from the feedback from sort of like listeners at the moment. That's what they've been enjoying. Is a nice, well-rounded, solid cove.
Oh, beautiful! You know? Thank you, listeners.
Yeah. So when is it you're going away then?
16th of May. I've gone.
So 16th of May. So basically, we won't be able to record an episode for the next week because I'm working.
Might be fucking done deal then.
Well, what we might do is we might see if we can squeeze a little, like a midweeker. We'll try and get one episode done before Benny goes away.
And I do promise I'm bringing my recorder and that. I'm not just going to lake about in the sun.
But I might try and do something just to sort of as a filler.
I'll
try and do something. We'll try and keep the Cove alive.
Absolutely.
You know, but that's if you're wondering where Cove is and we're struggling, it might be because Benny's away. You know, but the boy needs a holiday. Holidays.
So I just hope I come back, mate. That's what I'm thinking.
As well, you know what I mean?
If I'm on the plane back, I think, oh, thank fucking God I didn't die out.
That's it. You just crying to yourself. Oh, this is champion. You know? But we've always got time for one last cast.
Lovely.
You know what I mean? So this is like, we've looked at these people before. This is like the Bigfoot research. You know, Debs, who does the...
yes!
Yeah, they do the Bigfoot research, British Bigfoot research. And I've just got one of their stories that I found particularly interesting. I had a little download.
To end on a Bigfoot story. Come on, skip.
Well, it's not Bigfoot. This is called I Saw the American Werewolf in London in Real Life.
Wow.
Wowzers, yowzers, eh? So this is from the Staffordshire area, right? And this is her witness. She's known as PD, so they're not sort of like saying her full name here, right? So she says, when I was about 5, I saw something really scary, and I'd forgotten about this incident until I had something shadow me when I was out walking my dog. Something I couldn't see was in the tree line, following me through a local park. As I was hurrying away from the area, the memory of being out with my dad and feeling the same kind of fear suddenly popped into my mind. My dad would walk miles with me out in the fields, and I would pester my dad to take me to a place called Devil's Hole. And there, a few times, he said no. But I was fascinated with it because the name was so strange. It's like a huge rocky hole in the fields, and there are lots of mine tunnels and natural tunnel systems there. I'd run off a little way up the track, and Dad was behind me when I stopped and asked him, "What's that?" And I could see an animal up ahead, but I have no idea what it was. But I was sure that my dad would know what it was. He said, "Come on, we're going. That's a wolf." And it was a wolf. But it was standing on 2 legs. And then I thought, that's not a wolf. And ever since then I've called it the Devil's Dog.
Oh, wow.
I called it that because for all it had a wolf's head, fur and legs, it also had shoulders and a body like a man. We just got out of there and said nothing about it, but it really scared me. A few weeks later, my dad got into trouble because I was out with my mum and I saw an Irish wolfhound, and I was terrified and freaked out. I had to tell my mum why I was so scared because Dad had kept it quiet from my money. Dad tried to explain, it was just an oversized mangy fox or something. But my dad was insistent. Mum tried to explain it away as an oversized mangy fox, but my dad says, no. This was a wolf.
Oh, God.
But to me, it was the Devil's Dog. I called it that until I saw a film a few years later and I realised what it was I saw. And she says, "Do you remember old pirate DVDs that you could rent from the market?" And I'm like, yay! Well, my friend had one. I asked me to watch it. I saw the cover photo, and that was enough for me. It looked exactly like The Thing. I knew what I saw looked like a werewolf. And that scared me so much I kind of shut down at that point and just pushed it away for years until it was put into my head next to the brook where she was having this walk. I don't think people outside the UK realise how when we were growing up there was no mention of cryptids, dogmen, werewolves or Bigfoot. But there was the odd American TV show. But nothing in the show we watched here. So some people in the UK still call it the Abominable Snowman because there is such a lack of information. Yeah. And I totally agree with this. This is really interesting because when we were younger, we did find these things in sort of like books about werewolves, Bigfoot.
But there were like one Bigfoot, one Loch Ness Monster.
Yes.
Mary Celeste, Vanishing Ship. Yeah. Just the classics when it was like total one-offs rather than repeating it.
But what I think she's made a really interesting point there is the fact that we didn't seem to have them in the UK. These were things that happened somewhere else. But the truth of the matter is, I mean, we've mentioned many times before the woodwose, which is the traditional British Bigfoot. These things here creeping in the woods, these strange things, just because...
Old Padfoots and fucking...
Exactly.
Bogles and shit. It's full of it, isn't
it?
The
British Isles is full of these cryptid creatures and oddnesses and strangers. They're around every corner. I mean, my favourite of all time ever was still the little gnomes driving around in the little cars in that park.
That is just insane,
so check out the last episodes for that one, you know what I mean? But what she's seen there, we've actually seen a couple of things where there's big hulking sort of hairy beasts in like these little copses of woods and sections, they do seem to be out there.
Absolutely. It's like Army, there were a couple of years ago, the Army, there were a squad that saw some really decent sighting of one.
So it is occurring. They are out there. It's not just people's imaginations and sort of feeling a bit weird. I think I'm a big believer they are seeing something which is, as we've said before, the veil is thinning in places. Yeah. Something's crept through and you're just seeing into it and you're just seeing some strange creature, which I think she's seen a werewolf.
Fucking definitely. With an old man seeing it as well, it ain't just like seeing it wrong.
Exactly. It's a shame she's not gone back and said, Dad, you remember that?
Yeah.
You could get that, because that's what I've done in the past about talking to people. Have you seen something weird? You go back and ask them again, and it's very interesting. The accounts exactly the same. So so if you've been out there, have you seen a werewolf? Have you seen a weird creature? Do get in touch with us at KRAKEN COVE PODCAST at gmail.com, at KRAKEN COVE Pod on Instagram, and just type in KRAKEN COVE in you'll find us. Yeah, you'll find us as well. So send us a message, send us a little note.
Yeah, let us know. And if you're out there, watch the woods.
Very sinister.
Well, I tried. You were saying it over a nice one.
Yeah, I felt like that.
Watch the woods.
So, like I say, anyway, hopefully we'll have a little bit more Cove before Benny goes on his travels. But be sure that when he does go on his travels, he's going to come back with a rich trove of information.
There's going to be weird loot arcing.
Yeah, so I'm sending him with a little field recorder. Yeah. So hopefully we might have a few little accounts we can splice into the event. But until that time, all it remains for me to say is a big bye-bye from Matt.
It's a big bye-bye from Benny. Take care, guys.
There are 3 ways you may contact Kraken Cove. Either by email at krakencovepodcast@gmail.com, on Twitter at Kraken Cove, or Instagram at Kraken Cove Pod. Ha ha!